setting up to make my cut for the shelf that's going to be on the bottom. It'll mirror what's going on here because I want those casters to be as far to the outside as I can get them. I don't want the shelf to be flat, and then these would have to be in here way inside like that. The other thing that it won't allow you to get to this lock to keep them in place. So the shelf will be the exact dimension of the inside of that. And the way I'm going to set up my rip cut is to take my pieces, you can see them there, two long pieces and the one short one. So I'll hold these here, bring my fence over to the blade, right about right there. And yeah, that would be the dimension without any edging on it. So now from here, I have to subtract a half. So I'm going to go just half an inch, about right there. I've got my shelf over here edged on two sides, waiting for that to set up. In the meantime, I can take and cut these legs, measuring from the top of the shelf to the top or I should say the bottom of the bottom shelf. It'll be reversed here. Is going to be 32 inches, and then plus 4 inches from my caster. So there's my cut line. I'll take and cut these on my miter saw all to the same length. And I just love it when things work out. So everything is nice and flush. This is the bottom. This is the top of the bottom. And the casters will mount on the underside. I will drill for those before I put this together. And to give me access to that location, I want to leave myself a little bit of room here. Maybe half an inch or so, just so I can get in there and put a screw through that. Actually, it'll be coming from the other way. Screw or a bolt, I'm not sure which yet. At any rate, in order to strengthen this, because I don't know how much weight will be on here, I don't think much, but the weight will be going in that direction. So I'm gonna use my table saw and cut a little dado around the edge here to give me just that little extra glue surface, you know, that you get from that edge there. That'll also help square it up. All right, I overcut this just a fraction. Now the length is always going to be good. It's the width that I'm concerned about here. And you can see there's just that little bit of movement. Probably a 64th of an inch. So what I need to do is take these 4 pieces, and that's the beauty of doing it this way, is that all 4 of these are the same length, top and bottom. So I need to take just a fraction off each of them and then come back and make sure that this is correct. Well, lucky for me, my crosscut sled was set up with this being the last cut, and all I had to do was turn that micro adjuster just that little bit of a fraction, and look at there, perfect, just right on the nuts. Okay, so now I know that's good. Time to drill some holes, and then I can glue this lower tray up here. Since this accepts a 1/4 inch bolt really nicely, that's when I'm going to drill my holes. And I'm going to go right tight to this corner, or fairly tight, I guess. I'll maybe give it a little bit of room. Well, I'm just off with the one hole here, so I'm going to have to drill that out. It didn't take much to open that up. That'll be good. So one hole enlarged or elongated maybe, and I'm ready to go. I'll do the other ones and then we can move forward. Okay, I've got the bottom tray done, and I've just mocked up the legs that are going up, and I'm trying to visualize what would be happening here. You know, if you reach for something into this bottom tray, let's just say, or you're walking along and you know, you come close to one of these corners. What I'm thinking is I'm going to round over these outside corners and these here as well. They can go all end to end, full length. This inside corner of the box will get rounded over. I think I'll just probably sand these edges, you know, give them a quick bump with the sandpaper. And then after that, I think I'll be okay. These will just get fastened with glue to start. I'll worry about how I'm going to reinforce this joint. But anyway, you need to take a moment sometimes and kind of think of what it is going to be when it's completed. And what. All right, I got the cart body, I guess, mocked up here. No glue or anything yet, but all I intend to do is literally just glue these corners, fasten it together that way. I've got my top ready to go. I had a nice piece of laminate laying around that was the perfect size for this. I'm still kind of breathing those fumes a little bit. The only thing that I've got that I wish I had noticed before I had done it was there was a slight little crack right here, but it's a shop cart. No big deal, nothing can snag on it. I've tried to run stuff over and then it's pretty smooth, so I'm not concerned about that. Rounded over the top edge slightly with a 1/4 inch round over. Did not use the full quarter round. Then sanded the corners and put a slight chamfer on the back or the outside edges. The bottom edges, I guess they'll be. So these edges got a slight chamfer with a block plane, and it's going to be just fine. So that will be ready to go once I get this body glued up. And like I said, all I'm going to do is put glue in these corners. I'm going to put some pencil marks on this where the joint lines are going to be, so I know where to how far the glue will extend, and then slap it together. All right, I got the clamps on it. Actually, I took this one off. I got to put it back on. It's just straight glue for now. The only thing that I did do different on the top than I did the bottom was put these long clamps on, because if you remember right, these pieces are a butt joint against those long ones. So I put glue in that joint, and just to make sure that it was tight, I put the clamp to draw it in this way. I clamped the bottom to my workbench so it wouldn't move, and then just basically threw it together. I have not even checked it for square yet. I'm really not that concerned about square, to be honest with you, because it's going to be what it's going to be. Let's just go back here where we were. And that is That's perfect. That's right on the money. Yep. So, no concerns there. All right, clamps are off. I've got it flipped up on the top. I'm just going to make some marks here to locate it. It's relatively centered. I say that because things kind of move and shift on you when you're doing something like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some dominoes in here into the 3/4 inch uprights to fasten the top to the frame. And I had some minor movement of these pieces that I had to flush up. Very minor, didn't only take just a few minutes. So now that I've got this located where I want, I'll go ahead and make some marks for some dominoes. All right, I put my straight edge down here, and it's 1 inch wide. I wasn't even thinking, so that works out pretty well. It's almost flush. It's a little bit this way, but it's equal. So then I brought my table upright back, or cart uprights, and then lined up the outside lines and transferred my marks here and here. So that's where I will plunge, and then I'll use that same mark on this side, and we can do the opposite side. Now, as long as I reference that same edge and use this as my reference edge, I should be fine. So the plate, the bottom of the plate will match this surface here. So if I can lay this down. Before I do that, I got to transfer this mark. Now I want to go a little deeper on these. I gotta get this out of my way a little bit.